Hey, what's up everyone? This is going to be a multi-topic video. One of the topics for the video is going to be about personal events in my life, things that are going on right now. There's a lot happening, some of which are very frightening, very worrisome, but I'll get into all that later. I know, I guess it's all, I guess everything is in the divine plan. I don't know how else to put it, I suppose. But the things that I've witnessed, there are a lot of personal shifts that I've witnessed lately. Like I will look at something and it's completely different. Objects that weren't there, boom, suddenly they're in a place they weren't. Objects that were here are over there. Places that weren't there, suddenly there. One example being we were heading up about 5 miles north of here, and on our way there, I looked to the left of me and I thought, did I just see what I thought I saw? And on the way back home, sure enough, that house, this old wooden, it's an old wooden rundown kind of a shack place. It's an older house, and which is what people lived in quite often then. And it was burned down. They destroyed it. They completely destroyed the place. I remember they got rid of it. Pretty sure Mama does too. I don't know for sure. I'll ask again. But I said, huh, you know that house that was burned down? They completely destroyed it. They just completely destroyed the entire house and everything. It's back and falling apart again. And I noticed that. So it was back. It was falling apart. All right. So I go up to the post office. That's where we were going that day, is the post office. I was going to ship something off. And I asked the lady that works there, and she's always been very kind and very nice. And she is the person that I always speak with up there when we go to that post office. We've had issues in the past with ours. I think things have straightened out with ours, and I'm going to give them another chance, our local post office. But I go up to that post office. I go in there. Actually, the reason why I found out they closed when they did is instead of 4:30, it's 4 there, is because the door was locked when I got there. I thought maybe they were closed today for some reason. So I do a search online and it says the post office closes at 4. I even asked. I asked, when do they start changing at 4? Didn't get any answers. I gave them a good rating on Google because of the way they used to be. So I go in there. Finally, I go in there the next day. There's a long line of people. There's about 6 people in total, counting myself, waiting in line. And I get into conversations with different people in there. And I asked this one guy, didn't they used to close at 4:30 here? And he said, yeah, I think they did. He said, I don't know when they started closing at 4. I think I can remember when they closed at 4:30. And so he confirmed my memory. He said, I do remember they closed recently. They closed at 4:30. He said they must have changed it. So I asked the lady, in which I was in there at 4:20 something one day. I was there at the very last moment. And I asked the woman that worked there, when I finally got up to the counter, I asked her, so when did y'all start closing at 4? She said, we've always closed at 4. As long as I've been here, it's been 4 o'clock. And I said, oh, well, really? I noticed different hours on the same door. She said, it's the same doors that have always been here. And I said, okay. I was like, okay. Oh. And I hate doing that. I hate going, okay, okay. It's like, ugh. Like why? I mean, it deeply bothers me deep down inside, going like, okay, I'll just have to just accept that. When you know good and well deep down inside, for you it wasn't that way. For you, for your mama, for me, for my mom, it wasn't that way. My mama was like, no, they must have changed the hours. And then I asked her, no, it's always been that way. But one of the employees says, I feel I can remember it. I mean, not one of the employee, one of the customer said that he can remember it. And I wasn't feeling that well that day. Speaking of not feeling well, my father's legs, the rashes down his legs, it's, and now he's getting some sores on his arm. He has bad reactions to water, and he's a truck driver, and the different places, the water sometimes gives a bad reaction. And now he's tried every type of spray and everything, an antibiotic that he's tried an antibiotic, he's tried everything, and it's not looking good. And diabetics can have their legs amputated, so we're very worried about that. So please pray. I know I'm going to tonight as well. He has to get up at about uh, 1 a.m., 1 o'clock. About 2 hours and 5 minutes from now. So we've got to call him at 1. He's not doing well. I don't know what to say. He's super draggy and sleepy. He said his lungs are bothering him, but that rash on his legs, I don't like that. None of us do. The rashes. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I know diabetics get a lot of problems, and we can't afford medical help right now. I mean, we can't even afford to do anything for Mama. I don't know. But anyway, pray, please, 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 please. I'm begging you, please. We're gonna be praying. That's for sure. I'm gonna be sending all the possible energy I can send for him. I try for my mama as well to send. The details. Sorry, I got off topic again. You all, you're just such a blessing. For me to be able to share on here, it's more of a blessing than any of you could ever imagine. Because it gives me a way to be able to share. Otherwise, I'd have no way to share except with Mama, of course. But I'd have no. I mean, you can't just walk up and spill your guts to someone, which other people have with me for some reason. They feel like they can, but excuse me, my stomach's gurgling. But anyway, back to that topic. We went there and I asked her. She said we've always closed at that time. I'm like, okay. So, yeah, there's that. They used to close at 4:30, and I then went to look. You know how Google saves your history of everywhere you've been, and they save your location history if you have it turned on. But I looked at my search history, and I was like, wait a minute, I was at the post office in September because I sold something in September, and I had an invoice for it on eBay. And I don't sell things very often on there, but when I get the chance, I try. I've still listed some things. It takes forever to sell something simple, like a $40 item antenna that my father got from this truck stop on sale. He got these antennas, and we're trying to sell them. CB antenna or different type of antenna radios. I'm selling them for like 40, and that's counting the shipping. But anyway, they always closed at 4. So I went and looked at on my Google Maps. I looked at my Gmail and I was like, I'm going to look at the invoices. So I searched the invoice and it was in September. So I searched last September and I checked every day, and it turns out I was at the post office at 3:02 that day. I remember going at 4:20 or 4:20 something, and I was in there and I looked at the clock and I was like, oh, 4:20. Well, okay. And I was like, that's what I remember. I remembered it was that time because that's always been a joke people made, that time. But I remember I was in there at that time. It was 4:15 when I went in there, and it happened to be 4:20 when I walked in the door that time, but not now. I went to the post office at the 3 o'clock hour, 3:02 to 3:10 every single time that we went. The last time I was selling items, I went to the post office to ship things off. So that's what happened there. And then you see events online, like, for example, I saw something, this All Time Scary posted a video saying that there was another plane crash in November, on November 12th, 2001, that 265 people or so died in a fiery plane crash that landed in New York on a commercial airline. And he said so many people, for some reason, documents say they don't remember that ever happening. Just like a creepy video Al Roker said on the day, and I don't know if it was Al Roker. That wasn't Al Roker. I don't think that was Al Roker after all. Some said it was Al Roker. I don't think so. It was a meteorologist, but I don't think it was Al. He said it's quiet, too quiet. Anyway, and that's what he said, too quiet the morning of 9/11. So sort of like pre-programming, like they knew something was going to happen, and I'm going to share that very soon as well. But there's so many different things that you'll look at something. For example, yesterday I had two 20s, and I'm going to save these two 20s. I'm going to save this $40. I'm going to save it, and I put it, and I zipped it up, and Mama watched me zip it up. But here's the thing about it. Mama said she watched me zip it up and put it in the suitcase. I felt like I remember putting it buttoned up in the coat pocket. And I was sitting right next to her. We were at the Love's Travel Center with my father. And I put the 220s, I buttoned them up into the coat pocket. But then I was going to separate the 10. I took a $10 bill, and I was going to get something with that $10 bill. And I decided to put those 220s in my coat pocket. And she said she remembers me zipping it up in the suitcase. And I thought, well, maybe I took it out of the coat pocket, unzipped or unbuttoned the coat pocket and put it in the suitcase, and then zipped it up there, because I didn't have my other wallet on me at the time. I had left that at home. I have a specific wallet that's got a very little amount in it, and then another one that has more as needed. It's like if it's emergency as needed. It's not a lot, but it's an emergency. It's like, some 20s that I can have as an emergency, but Mama has the same thing. She'll try to save what we can. Now we're dipping into that. Now we're getting into that, trying to save, for the emergency money. But that's not what I want to talk about. I went off into another conversation. But those 220s, she specifically watched me put them up, zip it up, and save it. Then I went to get them, and they disappeared. They're not there. I said, they're nowhere to be seen. And she said, I watched you put them in there. I said, I know. I unzipped the suitcase. It's not there. I looked in my coat pocket. It's not there. Buttoned it back up, zipped the suitcase back up. I looked everywhere. Other things have disappeared and reappeared in plain sight. The truck alarm again, it's back to the same thing. It'll lock on me, or the alarm will go off on me. Just crazy things like that. That's the stuff I've dealt with my entire life. But something you'll put somewhere specifically, and you put it there, and then boom, no longer there. Just not there anymore. And life is something so strange. Like Pokemon Battle Stadium, for example, I used to play that on Nintendo 64 as a child. And now it's just Pokemon Stadium. And I remember the black tip tail specifically from Pokemon Stadium, or Battle Stadium from what I remember. I remember the black tip tail Pikachu. I went and looked at the box of the game that I have from childhood on my shelf, and it does not have it. That's to be expected, though, in the world around us. So, there's people going, well, there's something altering history. And there's the theories that, well, the final Antichrist can have he has the power to change the times and laws. Well, if he's going to do that very soon, then we'd be seeing the effects of it now. There's other things talking about the Matrix situation or a multiverse situation, portals of old opening up that are changing, and we're interdimensionally shifting back and forth. Or spirits moving from one version of yourself to another, spirit moving from body to body. You can't tell. It's so confusing. We have driven by before, and I saw this weird giant building appear with letters it was like letters that didn't make sense. It was a black building with these white letters, and we were heading no idea what that was. Some kind of sounded like a vehicle just wrecked outside. I hope not. Or something fell off of a trailer. They need to fix that road out front. They have huge dips in it. Thought they fixed it for a while. That's another thing. We drove down the road one day, and we were heading to pick Daddy up from work, and then all of a sudden the bumps were gone. And I said, well, I had just reported it on Waze saying they need to fix this. Someone's going to get hurt. Someone's going to have a wreck, something like that. And I thought they fixed it. It was like, well, it's smooth. We came back through 15 minutes later, and the road is it's just a mess. It's back the same way it was, and they've never fixed it. It never got fixed in the world around us. And you start to wonder how many things when you go through a shift, you then wonder, oh great, now what have I got to reevaluate? What have I got to look at? What's going to be different now? Every time a shift happens. But those are some recent shifts, the ones I mentioned in the first half of this video. But the other ones, please keep my parents in your prayers and thoughts and positive energy. But the other one is that black building or black. Some people told me that it was probably some sort of a simulated thing or a UFO or a projection or who the heck knows. But there it was. It was this big black building. And I said, I don't remember that being there. I mean, no one thinks about this. No one really, you just don't think about it. It was a big black building to the right of us in this mall parking lot that was shut down. It was closed at the time. They closed at 9, so the mall was shut down. It was a strip mall. And that big building, just, there was this huge, huge tower. Black tower with white writing. And it was almost like it was aware we noticed it, and the lights go, boom, just off. The lights turn off. I was like, I don't remember that building. And the lights just turn off. I mean, it's like, what are we in? Like, what is life? Yeah, I believe in God. I believe in the Lord. But life is so strange. Now, I've had a connection with the spiritual connection since I was a child. As long as I can remember. I will tell you that. But the thing about that particular scenario is that experience was, we saw it, but we were in such a hurry, and these things usually tend to happen when you're in such a hurry, or your mind is preoccupied, and you don't get to pay as much attention as you would like to the particular situation at hand. And it's just something that you can't forget. These things, you just can't forget them. But anyway, I've rambled on enough. I'm hoping things get better for all of us. I'm trying to remain positive because, what else can you do? Just hope and pray. You just try to remain positive. You try. I'm trying. But anyway, that building was strange, and then it just vanished. 15, 20 minutes later, we passed back by through there. I don't even know if it was that long. After taking him to work at about 9:30 at night, the building's gone. That whole thing's gone, and it's never been there since. Never was before, never was since. All right, that's just a few scenarios. Peace, signing out. I've got a lot to share, and I love you all. Much love, everyone. Life is strange. It's a large mystery. Keep on observing, everyone. Signing out. Also, send your love and thoughts and prayers. Lots of energy. Let us collectively focus. Things will be better. Healing is upon us. It will be so. It will be so. It will be so. Signing out.